Are you ready? Ready to take a ride? Grab your coffee and strap yourself in, because the show is about to begin.
This is RevMichelleHopkins.
You are listening to Omega Man Radio Network with Shannon Davis.
I want to welcome everybody to a live edition of Omega Man Radio. Praise the Lord Jesus Christ. I've got a special treat for you. For the next hour, we're going to give the mic to Reverend Michelle Hopkins. Michelle, I love these kind of topics because there's a lot going on that you and I will never be told about because, as you mentioned, they're classifying all this stuff. It's being listed as black ops operations, and you know, why is it they want to hide all this information? Is it just
because
that they
it's weaponized? It's weaponized now. That's right. Whenever you want to weaponize something, it immediately becomes top secret. That's why Harp, the cover story, was that it studied high auroral incidences with frequency. Well, you know, that's nice, and yes, it does do that, but that's the cover story. And the reason I can say that is because my NASA friends have told me that. They do a lot of other things that we cannot even fathom. You know, when you have that kind of ability, you militarize it as soon as possible. Now these things are on ships and airplanes and jets and doing all kinds of things. We wouldn't believe some of the kinds of capabilities that we have because of this technology.
What's the bottom line all this, Michelle? What do they want to do with this stuff?
Well, I mean, it's evident by what this stuff is. I mean,
terminate life.
Terminate life. Go back to the father of it all, you know, to destroy human life.
Maybe we'll call this 1,000,001 ways to that you can be killed.
Yeah, here's 1,000,002. There is actually a TTA kill wand, very small, handheld. No one could know what's in your hand. You want to kill somebody, all you do is point it at that person. They don't even have to know you've pointed it at them. It looks like they've had a heart attack, or if you point it at their head, it looks like they've had a stroke.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What is hitting you? Is it some kind of electric beam?
Frequency.
Frequency.
Yeah, frequency. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Amazing. Now, I've heard of these things like Rife machines, where they can put a frequency in your body and it can kill certain types of parasites because they found the frequency of it. I mean, this is like the Frankenstein version of it.
Yeah.
Can they determine the frequency of your organs and shut them down?
Oh, absolutely. They can determine frequency of your thoughts. They can determine frequency of what kind of thoughts you're having. They can determine frequency of past events.
Now, there's actual patents on the market. You can do your research, folks, and they actually they have machines that can project thoughts right into your brain.
Yes.
And I understand they were even doing some of the testing on that back during the Gulf War.
And you can have the machine with you, and they can have the machine with them. You can be in another room and hear their thoughts.
Okay, so maybe an application would be they would, you know, project this at a group of Muslims and try to come across as Allah?
They've done that before.
Your arms?
There are stories from the Gulf War that when guys were on a ship, another ship came fairly close by, they could hear words from that other ship in their own heads, not through their ears, but in their heads. Scared them half to death. You know, they thought it was a devil ship or a god ship. They didn't know which. And when people were at Gitmo, they would have dreams and so forth and have visions of Allah telling them to do certain things. And the next day they would do it. You know, so we can do that en masse with frequency. You know, we can create holograms with frequency that are so real that the frequency can be calibrated to such a way that nothing can penetrate that hologram. So the hologram seems real. Now, China has this down to such an art that they can actually make entire cities appear and disappear, and our satellites read a city there, or a city completely obliterated that used to be there, that is really there.
You know, I've heard reports of these kind of mirage of cities. Is that what they're doing?
Exactly what I'm talking about. And the Chinese people, you know, this woman that was interviewed in this particular video that you're referring to, she was just talking about, oh, it's so beautiful, you know, and it happens. It wasn't the first time. China is doing it, you know, and their people are aware of it. They know it's a mirage. They know it's not really there. They think it's beautiful artwork. It's hologram. They know it's a hologram, okay? And they're so good at it. Like one time, they made it look like there was some sort of explosion, and this glow from this explosion, and a whole city appeared to be obliterated, and the story went out that America had sent over a nuclear bomb and just completely obliterated that city. And China didn't really say, no, they didn't, you know, and our satellites saw this obliterated city. It was a hologram. The city was still there. It wasn't until they lifted that hologram, they stopped emitting that hologram, that the city reappeared. We went round and round with them about that one.
Hologram technology is pretty advanced. Someone, I don't know if it was John Moore or what, was putting out information that the Navy knew about a coming super tidal wave that was going to hit. And as such, the CIA and many of the NASA employees were being relocated up to Denver, Colorado, which was supposed to be the alternate location for the White House, in a state of martial law. And that was
That's
the word.
Very possible. You know, this is part and parcel of what is happening in preparation for that in Puerto Rico. Now, I told everyone all about our ability to weaponize these things. What I believe is going to go down is a false flag. I believe we are going to either create our own plasma fireball, or we're going to grab one of these top secret asteroids and throw it flaming down into the ocean. Of course, it won't be big enough to create that 1,000-foot wave, but we're going to help it along with nuclear blasts that are synchronized and already placed in that area, so that it will, that and also frequency that is hydroacoustic in nature. We are going to build our own tsunami, just like Russia did with Japan. Russia claims they did it. You know, it was all on them. They're very proud to say that they're the ones that did that. I'm not saying they didn't have help, but anyway, I believe that's what's going to go down. Now, whether it works or not, I don't know. On October 8th, there was an earthquake in South Carolina. Russians are saying that what happened that day was that our top nuclear command ordered that those ships, rather than detonating those nuclear weapons in South Carolina, they took them offshore, about 150 miles offshore, and detonated them in the ocean offshore. And for that, their heads rolled. That's why they were fired. Now, I went back to, I decided to look what was going on from satellite imagery in that area to find out if I could see anything that was going on. And what happened the day before, and I believe this was ordered by the president, this is just my personal thinking, the day before, that entire area, the shoreline of South Carolina and North Carolina was chemtrailed, and out to a couple hundred miles in the ocean, there was a round area of chemtrail that they were chemtrailing the day before. The day of, that entire area was so thick with those clouds that were kept in place by frequency. Anything could have gone down, and nobody from any satellite would have been able to see it. There would have been no culpability.
Are you talking about the two generals that were just fired here recently in the news?
There have been 7, actually.
7?
7 top people, some of them nuclear and others in other areas. 7 over just a period of a few days. It
sounds to me like there's been a concerted effort to weed out what the New World Order deems as undesirables from the military. Those that would oppose the view of the NWO. What do you think?
I believe that those who refuse to fire on Americans are being taken out, and those who are willing to do so are being replaced.
No doubt about it. I know many years ago that was a question that they asked the new Marine recruits, that if the Commander-in-Chief were to declare a state of martial law and outlaw private ownership of firearms, and you received an order to go house to house and do search and seizure, and you came up against a citizen that would not surrender their guns and you were ordered to fire on them, would you fire if that was the command given? And you had to answer yes or no. Okay, systematically they've been putting roadblocks in place to limit access to things. Is it a far stretch now to say if you do not have our national ID card or our health ID card, whatever it's going to be, you don't have our mark, you don't get to drive, you don't get to work, you can't fly. They'll basically hem you in to where you don't have an opportunity to do anything.
That's
except
right. And
comply.
these roadblocks will no longer be stop, let us search your car without any provocation as to why we want to search that car, and let it give us your blood for DNA samples or whatever else we want to use it for. It will be, let me see your arm, your hand, or your forehead. If you don't have the RFID chip, come with us, you're going to prison.
I mean, this is really talking Nazi Germany all over again. Borders, corridors, checkpoints. Let me see your papers. You won't even go to the next county. Let me see your card. Let me see your mark.
Exactly. And if you want to know where exactly this nation is heading, all you have to do is watch documentaries on how Nazism rose in Germany, because the same things are happening here in America.
You know, they have to. It takes time to achieve everything that they want, but it sure is speeding up, huh?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I've said it on other shows, and I'll say it on this. I believe our president was an Illuminati baby.
Really?
I believe he was born and bred to do exactly what he's doing with this country now. I truly believe he was. I believe all of the evidence points to that.
He sure does have a shadowy background.
Yeah.
This is Rev Michelle Hopkins. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.